Hello and welcome to Lotus Cup Europe. We're here in Belgium with Spa Euro race this weekend and the weather looks to be amazing. It's going to be an exciting weekend of racing as we see some new faces on the grid. The cars are taking to the grid, ready for the first race of the weekend, and it's a rolling start. Ben Spaller is on pole, followed by newcomer Peter Verlinde and Jason McNulty.
Peter Verlinde has done very well in qualifying to join the reigning champion on the front row of the grid. Row 2, Jason McNulty and Xavier Georges. They're followed by Steve Williams back with us, and the Dane, Nicolas Ipsen, Thierry Verheest, next from Christophe Lissange. Then it's Chris Laroche and Jean-Baptiste Lou, Daniel Palmer and Anthony Fournier on row 6. Row 7, Thomas Vazin and David McAnulty. 8th row, Robin Nilsson and Natalie Genoux-Prache, followed by Ian Fennick and Istvan Karali. Dave Harvey next. Mark Yates, an excellent pole for the productions ahead of Sven Pedersen. Then Jean-Pierre Genoux-Prache, Paul Patterson and Dave Carr on row 12. John Engelbor's next up from Lucas Boucher and John Rass due to complete the grid. Great performance in qualifying from the Club Sport and BMW race. Peter Verlinde, Chris Laroche in the 57 is second in class for the 211 Open category, and it's Verlinde in the white and black car. Daniel Palmer makes a very quick start indeed, breaks ranks. I don't think that was a jump start. He's already having a look there at Nicolas Ipsen. He passes, catching up with Xavier Georges, but it's Ben Spaller that leads the very tight first bend here at Spa. We've got, I think that was Istvan Karali going a little bit wide. Anthony Fournier trying to claw his way up as well. Fournier, I think 7th in 211 Open, 14th overall in the championship, just ahead of Jean-Pierre Genoux-Prache, of course racing in the production category. But a fine sight these cars make, and this makes an even better sight because it's a battle for the lead. The newcomer challenging the reigning champion, drawing level with him, and goes round the outside line. Superb stuff from Peter Verlinde, has got the lead. Ben Spaller is relegated, the champion, the pole position man, relegated to second position on the opening lap. Verlinde is there, all action at the front. We've got some action going on as well here because slowing down is Xavier Georges. Now here's what happened. Georges looks down the inside line, clatter with Steve Williams. Great to see Steve back in the championship. And that, I think, has damaged Xavier's car. David McAnulty about to try and go past. Diving through on the inside line in yellow is Thomas Vazin, the former champion, but problems early on for Xavier Georges. And look at the two leaders. They were battling, but yet they're pulling away from Daniel Palmer in third place. Steve Williams in black fourth. The gold car of Jason McAnulty is next up as Anthony Fournier dives down on the inside line to pass Natalie Genoux-Prache. Christophe Lissange working hard, and so too is Thomas Vazin. In yellow goes through. Thomas 2016 overall champion as Jason McAnulty. Really good to see Steve Williams here. Race wins for him here at Spa in 2016. And McAnulty, a winner here as well in the past, double production winner a couple of seasons ago, and that was 2017, and one race won last year. Ben Spaller, the man here, second in shot, winning race 2 last year. Anthony Fournier, double winner in 211. Andrew Wright in the open class last year, and Sven Pedersen taking a double in the productions for 2018. Touring car racer Jack Goff won here in 2018. 2014, I beg your pardon, and Nicolas Ipsen took the V6 class win in that race as Xavier Georges comes into pit lane. So Xavier, not the happiest of starts for him, and that, if it's a retirement, that will be Xavier's first retirement of the season. So it's going to be very disappointing for him. First retirement of the race as well here. Anthony Fournier working hard, and about to pop move here on Robin Nilsson in the 59. Dave Harvey is going to make a move here and manages to pass Ian Fennick, so great move by Dave Harvey, 4 wins here at Spa over the years in Lotus Cup Europe. Dave Harvey running in the 211 Open category. Jason McAnulty makes the dive on the inside line of Steve Williams to take 4th position. McAnulty is now 4th. Steve Williams is in 5th place. Ian Fennick trying to get back on Dave Harvey, who goes wide in the 340R. Jason McAnulty now all over the back of Daniel Palmer and dives down the inside. What a lap, what a spectacular lap from Jason McAnulty, very clearly at home on this track. As I said, a 3-time winner, twice in productions, once in V6. But he's actually letting, these 2 guys are getting away, and Jason McAnulty might be ruining the fact that he had to do that work in the opening laps. But he's in a clear 3rd place now. Steve Williams about to go past Daniel Palmer. Palmer not looking happy at the moment. It's very quick off the start. And Steve Williams goes through to 4th position. Wonderful to see Steve back with us. First outing of the year. And many drivers, you know, are going to pick their favourite circuit over the years. A lot of drivers, of course, have business commitments throughout the season. Might only be able to do 1 or 2, but you know, given the calendar that Lotus Cup Europe has, which one would you choose? Because it's Hockenheim, Paul Ricard, Spa, Assen, Brands Hatch Grand Prix circuit, Nürburgring or Le Mans. They're all absolutely first-rate circuits. So if you have a limited programme, it's a difficult job to choose which one you're going to come to. In car with David McAnulty. David, torrid start to the season. Hockenheim, 25th in race 1, non-classification in race 2. Since then, starting to, or after the retirement in race 1, Paul Ricard, a brace of 6 positions there. This, of course, our 3rd meeting of the season. And this the championship leader as far as the production class is concerned. Sven Pedersen busy chasing poleman Mark Yates. Back to the overall lead, though. And Ben Spaller looking for a 2nd win at Spa, and he's being made to work hard, but he's going to have a look around the outside line here of Peter Verlinde. Is he going to do it? He does exactly what Peter did to him earlier on. So Ben Spaller has learned from that. Superb move. Both of the drivers, when they executed, you've got to say, Spaller looking a little bit more stable on the exit of that corner than Peter was when he went past. Ben Spaller reclaims the lead. Wonderful racing from Lotus Cup Europe once again. Ian Fennick closing in here on Istvan Karali. Let's see if Fennick can make the move. Inside line he looks at, but Istvan not leaving too much of a gap on the switchback as the race leaders lights ablaze for Bentz, as he was when he was chasing and starting to try and build a lead over the Comotech car. But Peter Verlinde getting very close again. Loses out a little bit there as they come out of turns 19 and 20, which form the chicane leading on to the home straight. Jason McAnulty still in 3rd. McAnulty, every race that he has finished this year has been on the podium. Goodness me, if that's not the curse of the commentator, I don't know what is. Nikolai Ibsen is having a problem, and I think he's going into pit lane, maybe into retirement, as Christophe Lissandre has a look up on the inside line. There is Daniel Palmer coming under pressure now from Thierry Verheest. The Belgian's been very consistent as well, 10th overall in the championship, 4th in V6. As Sven Pedersen, Istvan Karali has a little bit of an issue. And, well, that's actually now, I think, going to free up Sven. No, it isn't. Istvan gets going here. The V6, as you would expect, passing the production runners. But Mark Yates might have his racing compromised a little bit here, because he could be quicker on the corners, potentially, than Istvan Karali, the new driver to the championship this year. Thierry Verheest having a look at Daniel Palmer. Sails past Palmer. Daniel Palmer not looking happy in the Textar Fusion Wear 21 car, the Siege. Nikolai Ibsen into retirement, so becomes the 2nd retiree of the race. Is Robin Nilsson being chased by Christophe Lissandre in the 92. And Lissandre on for another podium potentially here in 211 Open. He's running joint 5th in the championship with Jason McAnulty, but 2nd in 211 Open behind Christopher and Frank Laroche. Daniel Palmer is passed again. So Palmer dropping down the order. It was a very positive start, but very clearly the car not behaving as he would wish at the moment. We return to the race leaders once again, and it is still the number one, the defending champion, out front, but he's not getting a moment's rest because Peter Verlinde is all over the back of him as they come across the line here. Jason McAnulty still running in third place, Steve Williams fourth, David McAnulty making progress as well. McAnulty passes Daniel Palmer as well. You can see the three lead 211s all in the same shot. Robin Nilsson in the mix as well. Christopher Laroche, the leader there in the 57 car, and Daniel Palmer succumbs and goes into pit lane, potentially into retirement, as we watch Natalie Janot-Prache and Dave Harvey dicing for fourth position in 211 Open, and Dave Harvey gets a good exit there, manages to pass Natalie, who might try and get back, certainly closing up. Pretty good move. Oh, Daniel Palmer in pit lane trying to sort him out. Now, is that going to be a get back out and do a bit of testing for race 2, or is it going to be a retirement? You can see what I mean here with the productions, and Istvan Krali goes straight on. Sven Pettersson now having a run at Mark Yates, the poleman who has led this one, but Sven's got a little bit more momentum. Wonder if Yates was caught off kilter a little bit there by Istvan Krali. Side by side for the lead. Sven Pettersson in the white and yellow car gets the lead. Mark Yates comes out wide to grab the racing line and apex into the first turn. Let's see whether Yates can close back. He is looking on the inside line and challenging for the lead, but Sven Pettersson, third in the overall championship and production class championship leader, goes through, takes the production class lead here at Spa. Sven Pettersson having taken the lead on lap 6, still under pressure from the chaser Mark Yates in the 37 car. Yates has finished every race so far this year. There's the curse of the commentator for you. Watch him retire from this one or race 2. Now hopefully not, fingers crossed that he'll continue to have a good reliable run. I tell you what, I think he's possibly closing in again on the race leader in the production class. Look how clear they are of the other runners though in productions. Here comes Yates, got a bit of momentum, goes to the outside line. Sven Pettersson is passed. A great move by Mark Yates to go back into lead position here at Spa. So leading this group, Tamas Vaza in yellow, then David McAnulty, Robin Nilsson, Christopher Laroche, the outright championship leader, just behind these guys. David McAnulty, is he going to find room? He does. Look at that for a very neat move, an impressive overtake from David McAnulty on Tamas Vaza. The battle for the lead still very much on, and home driver Peter Verlinde still putting pressure on Bence Baller. I wonder whether it was Peter's home knowledge, or maybe he was perhaps a little bit more, I think the home knowledge on lap 1, being quicker out of the box. Maybe he was doing well on cold tyres, and still there in a very healthy second position and putting pressure on Bence Baller. Bence looking for a second win at Spa on the bounce, having won race 2 in last year, as we mentioned. Christopher Laroche leading 2:11. So closing in on Robin Nilsson, and again we'll try and look behind just to see what the gap is between Laroche, Christophe Lissandre, who's in second. You can see Lissandre there has got a little bit of breathing space as well over the third place car, Anthony Fournier. Anthony seems to be making a habit of third places. It'll be a third place of the year if he can, and if he can hang on to it, as Paul Patterson passes Jason McAnulty, and that's a problem for McAnulty because that's a production class car. Through goes Steve Williams, and it looks like a major problem for Jason McAnulty, who's right on board with David McAnulty, being challenged by Robin Nilsson. So Christopher Laroche in the mix as well, and the Frenchman, there is Jason McAnulty into the pits for diagnostics or retirement as Dave Harvey goes past him. So that is bitter disappointment, isn't it, for the number 11. That car, when it's finished, has been on the podium every time, but it's going to be another non-finish or a non-finish for him. Didn't start race 2 at Paul Ricard, if memory serves properly, as Sven Pettersson tries to get back at Mark Yates. Looks to the outside line here as they come out of turn 18 and down in towards the chicane again, and Sven able to take that wider line in that might give him a wee bit more momentum along the home straight down towards La Source, which is where they are now. Yates still the leader. Pettersson is on the inside line as they come down into turn 1. Is he going to be able to grab the lead? Yates, we know, well, Yates took a slightly wider line in. He might go for the momentum back up the hill, but Sven Pettersson now is the leader, and coming into pit lane is Peter Verlinde for, we think, a drive-through. That is going to mean that Ben Spaller has all the pressure taken off of him, and a little bit of a shame for the viewers, because we've effectively that's extinguished the battle for the lead. We've still got a big lead battle going on in productions as Mark Yates again repasses Sven Pettersson to take the lead for the 3rd time in this race. Verlinde through. A stop and go for him. Now, where is he going to rejoin? Depends on how long he took getting in and out. You have to respect the speeds, of course, coming into pit lane. Christopher Laroche has now gone up ahead of Robin Nilsson, so another V6 between the lead 211 and the chasers. So Laroche doing a very efficient job here, and he'll now see if he can get past David McAnulty. Although, having said that, Robin Nilsson gets the position back, dives down the inside line, and Christopher Laroche is wise to that. Nilsson went a little bit too deep in, didn't have the speed on the exit, and Laroche gets the position back as Sven Pettersson challenges again for the class lead. Here is the Billy No Mates out front. Ben Spaller so clear, he's built up a big lead with Peter Verlinde, as Mark Yates is coming under pressure again from the 88 car, who is working that outside line. Can he do it? They're giving each other room and respect, which is wonderful to see. And again, Sven Pettersson, superb move, and that could be very timely, because onto the last lap goes the race leader Ben Spaller. I reckon Bence may well pop a lap. I don't know, he's quite a way behind. Maybe he'll probably catch these two guys, as Mark Yates now has a look at the outside line again. He's drawing level, hasn't quite got the momentum, or has he? Side by side, Sven Pettersson looking ahead. We'll see the next corner's a right-hander, so he'll have the line in. There he is, still hangs on to the lead. That could be a deciding moment as Yates goes wide here, trying to get momentum, flicks back to the inside, but gets an armful of opposite lock, and that could very well be the deciding moment for the race for the production category. Yates still working hard. You can see Ben Spaller is closing on them hand over fist. This could be the last lap for the two production runners as they go downhill. Spaller closing in on them. If they stay in front, they'll have another lap to battle, so this is absolutely key to this race. Spaller trying to close in. Ben Spaller 30 odd seconds clear of Peter Verlinde, still in second place. He emerged from the pits still in second place. Up into third now is Steve Williams. Thierry Verheest is fourth, David McAnulty fifth. So this is going to be a good finish, best finish of the year for David McAnulty. As Spaller comes downhill, is he going to pop a lap here on Mark Yates? Yates is going wide, he's seen him, giving him room. Spaller can afford not to take any risks here. He's got such a huge lead, so he'll pick his moment. The twists and turns of Spa, not great when you get into passing the traffic in the later stages of the race, but Spaller picked his moment, goes through. Christopher Laroche still busy challenging David McAnulty for fifth place. Robin Nilsson is in seventh, and I think that's done, but it's whether Laroche can get another place up and just finished one place further up the order as Ben Spaller comes out of the last corner. It is going to be Sven Pettersson who takes the win, so Ben Spaller wins overall. Pettersson right behind him doesn't get that extra lap, but Sven Pettersson winning the production class from Mark Yates, who I think maybe looking a little bit disappointed about that, but it was a fine race between those two. Textbook stuff from Ben Spaller. Here is Peter Verlinde on his debut in Lotus Cup Europe, will take a fine second position despite having had the visit through the pits. Steve Williams on his return will complete the podium, so a great result from Steve Williams. Thierry Verheest in the background will come through to take 4th place. It's a great opening race. The 211 Open class led by the second car in shot, Christopher Laroche, for his 3rd win of the season. He's having a good go at David McAnulty, and I think David is going to hang on to 5th place, his best finish of the season, as we said. And delight from the Frenchman, who will extend the outright championship lead in this race. 2nd place in class will go to Christophe Lissandre, and he will maintain 2nd position in the 211 Open category. So across the line he goes, and it's Anthony Fournier 3rd in class, but there is the race winner, Bence Balla, winning a 3rd race on the bounce in this year's championship. Pieter Villin 2nd from Steve Williams, Thierry Verheest and David McAnulty. Christopher Laroche winning 211, Robin Nielsen next from Christophe Lissandre, then Anthony Fournier 3rd. David Harvey 4th in class, completing the top 10. 11th going to Natalie Genoux-Prachet, then Ian Fenwick, Sven Pedersen winning production from Mark Yates, then John Engelbor's Dave Carr. Jean-Pierre Genoux-Prachet having drama and coming home in 3rd. Lucas Boucher next from Istvan Krali and Paul Pattison. They complete our finishes here for round 6 of the year at Spa.
Bence, congratulations. You're obviously getting used to the top step of the podium now. How was it having another Evora to fight with?
A bit more interesting than it would have been otherwise. I think we both knew that he will challenge for the lead in the first lap, because he's a local. He really knows the track, especially the 2 really changing corners of the circuit, Eau Rouge and Blanchimont. And yeah, he was quite a bit faster through Eau Rouge during the entire race. But at the start, of course, we were very, very close. And from his better start of the main straight and the slipstream, he could well just overtake me during the long straight uphill. Obviously, he got a drive-through, which did make my job quite a bit easier. But yeah, it was a fun race. It's quite challenging.
Peter, congratulations, 2nd overall in your 1st ever Lotus Cup Europe race. How's it been?
Yeah, of course, I must be happy, but 2nd place is the 1st place of the loser, so it hurts a little bit, but we should be very happy. The team worked very hard on the car, and they did a fantastic job since Hockenheim, I heard. So they did a lot of improvement, and it paid off today. So,
Steve, congratulations, 3rd overall in your 1st race of the season. How's it feel to be back?
Yeah, it's great to be back. Missed the atmosphere and the racing, of course. 1st race since September, Silverstone last year. I inherited 3rd really with a few retirements. But yeah, really good, and great Spa as always, and the sun's out.
Chris, congratulations, a win into 11 Open class. How was it fighting with Christophe amongst the V6s?
Merci beaucoup déjà. Écoute, la bagarre, ouais, ça a été une belle bagarre dès les premiers tours avec Christophe. On s'est bagarré aussi parmi les V6. Il a été gêné à un moment donné par Robin, ce qui m'a permis de prendre un petit peu de large et de garder un peu mon gap. Donc je suis super content parce que la voiture a été super bien réglée. Je remercie les gars des RCC d'ailleurs. Et voilà, j'espère que Franck fera la même chose demain. En tout cas, ça a été très bonne course pour moi. Voilà.
Jean-Pierre, congratulations, 3rd in production class. Obviously, it got a bit hard out there. You had to hold on to your roof to stop it flying off.
Yes. It was a pretty surprising race for me because I was not happy with my car at all after the qualification, and we have decided to totally change the setup of the car for the race, which is normally something you would never do. So I was pretty cautious in the first 2 laps, and it ended up being a quite good car. So I started to push a bit more. And then I lost my roof, well, I almost lost it. So I had to maintain it with my hand and do almost a full lap like that. And they put some tape on it, and I could restart past the car, which was 3rd at that time, and finish 3rd like that. It only happens to me, this kind of thing.
ready for race 2 here at Spa, and it's a standing start. The Avoras of Ben Spaller, Peter Verlinde and Jason McNulty are at the front of the grid and look set to have an amazing fight.
Thanks, Elise. Looking forward to race 2 as ever we are. Standing start and familiar look to the grid. Back of the grid drivers, the production class runners, just coming into line. And Sven Pettersson lines up second on the grid in productions. You can see just to the left the 37 of Mark Yates, who is the class pole position man once again as the lights go on. Out go the lights. We are racing a very slow start from Peter Verlinde in the outside of the front row, and he's very much, I think he could even be 5th or 6th. As they go down to La Source, it's Ben Spaller leading, Xavier Georges second. Verlinde has got through the gears quite quickly. Contact between Jason McAnulty and Christophe Lisandre. McAnulty having a miserable meeting. He gets going again. Also in the mix is John Engelbors in the number 27 car. Another driver on home tarmac is John. 3rd race of the year for him. Fine sight the cars make, but not good to see that contact. And Christophe Lisandre, that is a dent in the car, a dent in the championship points as well from the man who arrived here, joint 5th in the overall championship, 2nd in 211 Open. Franck Laroche takes over from Christopher in this one, and Jean-Baptiste Lou taking over from Philippe Lou in the 77 car. But Ben Spaller will be happy to look in his mirrors and see a little bit more breathing space than he had in race number 1 as Franck Laroche looks around the outside line of Robin Nilsson. Nilsson once again very much in the mix of the lead 211 drivers, and you can see Jean-Baptiste Lou just ahead of him at the moment. I'm sure that Robin would rather be fighting for V6 class points rather than inter-class race places, as it were, but he'll enjoy his racing anyway as we ride on board with Franck Laroche once again. Thomas Vazin immediately in front. Already the field starting to get spread out, finding their own place on track. Now this is significant. We've got Mark Yates chasing Jean-Pierre Jeunet-Prache, so the Frenchman is ahead of the pole position man in this one, and a couple of cars ahead, the white and yellow of Sven Pettersson. So Pettersson leading class. Mark Yates hasn't had the opening to this race that he would have otherwise liked. Xavier Georges, 2nd position. A good start for him as Vazin comes under pressure from Jean-Baptiste Lou. On board with Jean-Baptiste, who's going to try and get a little bit of momentum as Ben Spaller continues in lead position. Benz's worst result of the season so far was race 1 of the year. He must have wondered how things were going to pan out with 9th at Hockenheim in race 1. Christophe Lisandre coming into retirement, 2nd retirement of the year for him. Here's a replay of the start. So Jason McAnulty makes a decent start, chasing Ben Spaller. There is Xavier Georges. Steve Williams past him, so bogging down a little bit, and then looks on the inside line. Well, that one will probably go to the Clark if it needs to. So Jason was there on the inside line as we ride on board with Sven Pettersson, again embroiled with Istvan Karali, the Hungarian driver, and Jean-Pierre Jeunet-Prache going for the class lead. He's got it on board with Sven Pettersson, and the Frenchman passes the Swede to take the production class lead. Again, we've got superb racing with all 3 leading production runners together. Mark Yates from pole is down to 3rd, but it's very keen competition with Sven Pettersson for the 2nd race in succession, finding himself relegated down to 2nd place, but he'll try and fight back. Some keen racing going on up front. Gloves off, I tell you, here today, metaphorically. Robin Nilsson still trying to get the better of that battle with Jean-Baptiste Lou. He is up ahead of David McAnulty at the moment. He's going to try and run downhill into La Source around the outside line of the 211 car. So too is David McAnulty. Coming up in the mix as well is Franck Laroche in the 57 car, class winning car from race number 1. He's had a rear-ended David McAnulty's car. He won't wanted to have done that, but it is so tight going down into La Source. didn't see any of that in race number 1. I suppose in some respects maybe the confidence builds, you maybe get a little bit of fatigue as well, and an issue there for Dave Harvey. It's going to be a third retirement of the year for Dave Harvey. That's disappointing to see. Dave 4th in class in race number 1. Mark Yates is getting his skates on and manages to pass Sven Pedersen again, but this time he's got that extra car up front. Mark and Sven really can do without getting embroiled in that second place battle, so that they can maybe focus on working together to keep with and engage Jean-Pierre Jeunet-Prache in the production class lead. It's been a fascinating weekend again for the productions. In car with Franck Laroche, and makes a very neat move down the inside line of Thierry Verheest, who doesn't look that comfortable at the moment in the 17 car. Thierry taking 4th place in race 1, backing up 2/3 and a 4th at Paul Ricard, and you can see Jason McAnulty slices past as well. Jason has made considerable ground after that opening lap. This is a super recovery from Jason, showing what we know he can do. 3rd in the V6 category points coming into this round, but will lose ground after race number 1 as Mark Yates challenges for the lead. Looks to the outside line here. Has he got the grip? Is there much left in the tyres as we're well into this racing weekend? Now Yates can't quite deal with Jean-Pierre Jeunet-Prache, who you might remember a couple of seasons ago raced in the 211s, but really found a good home for himself in the productions. And Mark Yates working so hard to try and close in and pass the Frenchman. Robin Nilsson up ahead of David McAnulty, and these two re-engaging in the battle they had in race 1, but positions at the moment switched from where they finished. David having a very good season best 5th place in race number 1, so some good points to get under his belt. Jason McAnulty closing up though, as is Nathalie Jeunet-Prache, who is behind in the pink 211. Nathalie another good consistent point scorer. Jason McAnulty though ready to put the move on, makes the position and passes Anthony Fournier. Anthony himself having a good run in a podium position at the moment in 211 Open. Anthony having had 3 podia so far, and Thierry Verheest is out of the race, joining Dave Harvey and Christophe Lissandre on the sidelines. There's Nathalie Jeunet-Prache working hard to make up another position, and Nathalie finished all the races so far this year. Bence Baller still our race leader, with Xavier Georges in 2nd place, Peter Verlinde in 3rd, and maybe we're going to get a battle for 2nd as Peter continues to acclimatise himself to the car. Of course, the 2 things you have to know when you're racing, you have to, well, 3 things really. You have to know the circuit, you have to know the car, and to a certain degree you have to know your fellow competitors as well. As Verlinde got a very good run there, circuit knowledge showing superbly, goes into 2nd place, and we've got now a mirror of what we had in race number 1 for 1st and 2nd as Mark Yates challenges for the lead again, working the outside line, and you can see that Sven Pedersen's in the mix as well, and Yates has got the class lead again. Yates leads production. Jean-Pierre Jeunet-Prache relegated to 2nd now. Sven Pedersen on board with him in 3rd place, but Jeunet-Prache gets a good run out of the chicane along the home straight down towards La Source. Sven Pedersen chasing him. Mark Yates could get dumped down to 3rd. Here he does. So from earning 1st place, gets repassed. If anyone tells you there's no overtaking in motorsport, tell them to come and watch Lotus Cup Europe. Not only the V6s and the 211s, but also the production class. And I know there's a lot of people looking at this championship and thinking about doing great European venues in a very competitive, cost-effective class. The production class, absolutely superb entry into this championship. Yates getting back on the case. Jeunet-Prache built a little bit of a lead as the 2nd and 3rd place cars engage once again. Yates to the outside line, seems very happy on that part of the circuit, but Sven likes the inside as they come up to the right-hander. Good racing here. Natalie Genoux-Prachet up ahead of Anthony Fournier. This is for third place in the 211 Opens, and Anthony is going to grab the inside line here. Got a better run out of the chicane, takes third place. Natalie down to fourth, but working hard here. Inside line for Natalie Genoux-Prachet, Anthony Fournier on the outside, giving each other room. Fine racing between the pair of them. Determined, of course, to hold their ground, but equally determined to finish the race, not take each other out. So good racing from Anthony as he heads towards Eau Rouge. And Anthony fourth at the moment. Natalie Genoux-Prachet, this could be her first podium of the season. So having a good run. Meanwhile, the three production runners still very much hard at it, with Jean-Pierre Genoux-Prachet ahead of Sven Pettersson. Sven, the class championship leader, still has extended the lead from, I think there's 4 points coming into the round. Mark Yates still there in third. Anthony Fournier and Natalie Genoux-Prachet still racing hard here, and Natalie's got the upper hand, but again leaving a little bit of a gap. Anthony Fournier not quite tempted to go for that, tries to get a decent run out of the chicane, and Natalie maybe had a bit more momentum there. She's on the inside line, comes across the track to gain a little bit of a line down through into La Source. Fournier still putting the pressure on in the 41 car. Got the feeling this one's going to go all the way to the checkered flag. Anthony now looking on the inside line again as they go up towards Eau Rouge once again. Robin Nilsson and the two McAnultys. David still ahead of Jason, but Jason having a good run through the field. It's been a good recovery for what has been a frustrating weekend with that retirement in race number one, that contact on the first corner of this second race. And Jason really has shown some good spirit in this one with a good drive through the field. Natalie Genoux-Prachet still up ahead of Anthony Fournier. Anthony with just one non-finish this year, but championship-wise looking in reasonably good order, you have to say. Jason McAnulty now about to have a look at David McAnulty. Robin Nilsson still in front in car with Jason Ross third in the V6 Championship standings coming into this. I'm not quite sure how that pans out, because we've seen Thierry Verhees retire from this one. So I reckon Jason McAnulty will be a little bit more distant than he was coming into the Spa event, but still in third place in the championship, with Bence Baller extending the lead over Xavier Georges, assuming he stays in third position in this race. This man, Jason McAnulty, third in the standings. We've got Assen next time out, which is 21st of July. Jason McAnulty about to make the pass on David. He does, he gets through, and we'll now try and close in on Robin Nilsson to move up one more place. Natalie Genoux-Prachet still very much in the mix for third, but Anthony Fournier now claims that position. So Anthony is there, and now, as you can see, the progress from Jason McAnulty. This was inevitable. He's having a good go at the Swede here. Robin Nilsson, he's on the inside line, and Jason going for the sweep because he knows that the next corner, once they get round here, will be a right-hander. In fact, he doesn't need the right-hander to complete the move. Robin Nilsson is passed by Jason McAnulty as they head down in towards the chicane once again. David now getting momentum as well, and will try and pass Robin Nilsson too. So those two engaged in battle once again. Fine race between those two. Just a reminder, it's Bence Baller still out front from Peter Verlin. Xavier Georges in third. Steve Williams is fourth from Nikolai Ibsen and Tamas Vaza. Then Daniel Palmer, you can see, is there just ahead of Jason McAnulty, as Jean-Baptiste Lou getting stuck in here and having a look at Daniel Palmer. Not happy about that. Jean-Baptiste, who is the leading 211 in this one, and clearly being a little bit frustrated at the moment. That car retiring in race number 1 in the hands of Philippe Lou, but very clearly little wrong with it in this one, and with a little bit of breathing space in the 211 category at the moment over Franck Laroche. David McAnulty, this could be his opportunity as Robin Nilsson made a little mistake. And was that under pressure? Because David McAnulty was for sure applying that pressure to the Swede and makes up the place. So good news for David McAnulty, who moves up one more place as we rejoin the battle between Anthony Fournier and Natalie Genoux-Prachet. And Natalie going past, getting a very good run indeed. These two swapping places like nobody's business. And to be fair, we've seen much more place swapping between the productions and the 211s. By no means supporting categories to the main V6s. They can hold their own and provide just as much entertainment as Daniel Palmer now comes under pressure from Jason McAnulty. He's looking for 7th position, and round the outside line he hangs on to it. Very determined stuff from Jason McAnulty up into 7th place. Meanwhile, here is the production battle. Mark Yates in 3rd, busy chasing Sven Pettersson with Jean-Pierre Genoux-Prachet. Out front in the lead is Bence Baller, as he did on the previous race on the last lap, popping a lap on the leading production runners. He's got past 2nd and 3rd in class. I think he's done it slightly quicker as he kicks up the dirt, slightly quicker than he did in race number 1. It was later on in the last lap in race 1, but Bence Baller looking very good here for a Spa double. Pieter Verlinde goes past the production runners as well, and he'll look here to make the move on the inside line on Jean-Pierre Genoux-Prachet. You can see the blue flashing lights telling him to hold his line, which he does. It's a good drive from Jean-Pierre here. He's had lots of pressure. He's had to work hard to regain the lead at various points, as well as soak up some pressure from behind. But it's Bence Baller, the race leader, by 1.5 seconds approximately over Pieter Verlinde as they go downhill for the last time. The trio of production front runners all still very much engaged in their battle. And I tell you what, Sven Pettersson and Mark Yates starting to get closer on what is their last lap as well. So downhill they come. We're just looking back. Xavier Georges a fair way behind. Mark Yates gets an armful of lock once again. That's going to decide, I think, 3rd place for him in the productions. Anthony Fournier and Natalie Genoux-Prachet. Natalie's got the upper hand as they go into La Source for the last time. Runs a little bit wide. Anthony Fournier is back into 3rd place. Great racing between these two. Now Natalie, we've seen, has got the speed, and he's going to challenge back to get onto the 211 open class podium once again. They're battling for 12th place, those two, but 3rd position in class, which is the more significant fact of the two. Natalie getting a run again. Great momentum here, and Anthony Fournier is going to be passed and is deposed again from 3rd place in class. Great stuff from Natalie Genoux-Prachet as Bence Baller comes through, turns 19 and 20 for the final time, and gets the checkered flag. The championship lead is extended. In fact, he gets the overall championship lead. Pieter Verlinde 2nd. Great debut weekend in Lotus car. I do hope we see more of him throughout the season. Behind them, Sven Pettersson 2nd in productions. Up ahead of him is the class winner, which is Jean-Pierre Genoux-Prachet. And we've got waved yellows there. You can see the red lights on straight away as well, but we did complete the race distance. 3rd position here is Natalie Genoux-Prachet. In the closing stages, Anthony Fournier goes back through into 3rd place. Now can Anthony Fournier hold on to 3rd position? We switch back. The 21 car is Daniel Palmer. Jean-Baptiste Lou is here leading the 211 category. David McAnulty immediately ahead, has caught Daniel Palmer, but Jean-Baptiste Lou wins the 211 category. Wow, what a race we've had. Drama across both races. Anthony Fournier still holding 3rd position in class, ahead of Natalie Genoux-Prachet. A fine race those two have had. They're going to be very deserved of the applause around the circuit as they take the checkered flag. Here's the result. It was Ben Spaller from Peter Verlinde and Xavier Georges. Steve Williams fourth from Nicolas Ibsen and Thomas Bazin. Jason McAnulty, great recovery into seventh from Daniel Palmer and David McAnulty. Philippe Lou winning the 211 open category in the 77 car ahead of Robin Nilsson. Franck Laroche second in 211 from Anthony Fournier. Natalie Genoux-Praché next from Ian Fennick. Then the productions won by Jean-Pierre Genoux-Praché and Sven Pedersen in second. Mark Yates third, ahead of Istvan Kurali and Joel Engelbors in 20th. 21st final finisher is Lucas Becheur.
Vince, congratulations, another win. How hot is it out there?
Sorry, how hot?
How hot?
I wasn't that hot, but the rear tires were. Yesterday we tried some changes because we knew it was going to be a very hot day. And it was somewhat better, but not quite good enough. So by the end of the race I was struggling a lot with tires, but I knew that I had quite a bit of a gap in front of Peter, so I could afford to go a bit slower and safer. And yeah, luckily it all worked out in the end.
Peter, congratulations, first weekend in Lotus Cup Europe and 2 podium finishes. How's it been?
Great. I mean, it was a great race. Too bad today I totally missed the start. The lights went off so quick. I thought they would go on, and then so I saw the other guys leave and shit. I missed the start, but I had a great race. I mean, I had to fight to get back to seconds, so I cannot be unhappy about today.
Frank, congratulations. How was your race and dealing with the heat?
Pour mon premier départ arrêté de l'année, je suis pas mécontent parce que je suis pas trop mal parti. Je me suis bien amusé et malheureusement j'ai abîmé un petit peu la voiture à la source en rentrant dans le pare-choc de la voiture de David, mais après sinon la course a été plutôt tranquille. J'ai vu que Christophe avait eu un petit souci, donc ça m'a permis de m'échapper un petit peu et puis après j'ai pu rouler en me faisant plaisir sur un super circuit, qui est Spa. Voilà, merci encore à tout le monde et à toute l'organisation.
Jean-Pierre, congratulations, your first production class win. How do you feel?
Well, that was a tough race. I was much happier with my car than yesterday. We did a lot of setup change between yesterday and today, and I was much happier with the car today. I was a bit lucky at the beginning of the race to be able to pass Sven quite early, and then it was just defending my first place for the whole race. I don't think we have had more than 4 seconds between us three, so it's been really tough, but I'm really happy.
Anthony, congratulations, you had a really good fight with Natalie out there. How was it?
Yeah, the start was better than yesterday, but after I had some trouble with the engine, not so much power, so it was so difficult in the straight, and then I tried to keep Natalie behind. It was very difficult, and I can congratulate Nat to his good performance, but I'm happy for this podium and this good third place.
Some great racing here at Spa means that Ben Spaller is through to the overall lead of the championship. Christopher and Franck Laroche continue to lead 211 Open, but Ian Fennick into second in class with Natalie Genoux-Praché third. In production, Sven Pedersen has extended the lead over Mark Yates to 10 points. That's it from us here at Spa. Join us next time in July when we are at Assen. Thanks for watching and bye for now.